Hi, I'm Tom Beach, and welcome to a special series of conversations we're calling Partner Spotlights. In these sessions, we'll be exploring how the innovative collaborations between Telstra Purple and some of our most important partners are helping customers accelerate the pace of transformation. In the next 11 minutes, we are going to explore AWS, the AWS and Telstra Purple partnership, demystify 5G Edge, and help you get moving with AWS. A warm welcome to you, our audience, and Adam Beavis, welcome to the event.
Tom, fantastic to be here.
So, Adam, in his recent reInvent keynote in December, your CEO, Andy Jassy, said, and I quote, "The pandemic accelerated cloud adoption by several years." You're AWS's MD for Australia and New Zealand. What have you seen here in the last 12 months?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. When you look at it, the pandemic certainly changed the way people are going to work forever. And it's been inspiring, really, to see the way customers, our team and partners have really adapted to that change. And to put it into a little bit of perspective around things like the services that we run, a good example is Amazon Connect, a call centre in the cloud. During the first 2 months of the pandemic, we rolled out 5,000 new call centres in the cloud on Amazon Connect to our customers. A great example of that was an organisation in Australia called Cbus. You know, when the government changed the superannuation policy for early access to superannuation, they had to very quickly scale up, and within weeks we had their team working from home on Amazon Connect to really make sure they held a high level of customer service for their customers there. Probably another one to put in perspective is workspaces, so people having to essentially do the same role from home. And one story I love was Transurban. They were midway through just a small proof of concept, and within weeks again were able to roll out 850 workspaces for their team to very quickly adapt to working from home. If you look a bit broader than that, certainly agility and resilience. A lot of the things that we spoke to our customers around was, how do we remain agile? How do we pivot our business models now that we've been disrupted by this pandemic? And then how do we hold resiliency? How do we stay strong as a business and continue to grow while also adapting to the changes? And obviously with the pay-as-you-go model with cloud, customers are able to do that. So there's some of the things that we saw during the pandemic.
Thanks, Adam. So AWS and Telstra Purple have a deep collaboration. We date back more than a decade. You've been involved directly or indirectly in that for 7 years. And you've been an incredible sponsor in your current role. We used to work together, and some things that I really appreciate about you, you are deeply connected to customers. You're a very values-led leader, and that shows up in the work that you do every day with customers and with us. And you've overseen a period of extraordinary growth. So what is it that drives those, your personal philosophy, and why do you show up like that?
Thanks, Tom. Very kind words. I think it's important when you've got people that are coming to work and they want that purpose of what they're doing. And at Amazon, we're very customer-centric. You put the customer in the middle of everything and work backwards from that. And I think what inspires us is this idea that customers can come to us with big problems that they're trying to solve, or big opportunities they're trying to move into global markets or build new products. We get inspired by understanding that problem and then working backwards from that. And that's kind of when you've got a whole team that's driven behind that. As a leader, I'll be honest, the job's kind of easy because this whole team's rallying behind the customer. And if you stay myopically focused on what they need, it's very hard to go wrong. So that's probably, in a short way to put that, is the bit that I love, which drives the team to do great things for customers.
Yeah, it's core to the philosophy.
It is.
And I think it's great. I'm quite proud. It's core to the way that we're showing up together as well. So tell us a little bit more about how you're seeing customers that are new to cloud making their first moves with AWS.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wouldn't say that it's linear. And to probably give some background there, we focus on 3 core areas, and then we have over 200 services that fall in behind that. The first is really migration and modernisation. So how do customers reduce the footprint, reduce the TCO? So we see, on average, customers in Australia and New Zealand, when they move to the cloud, see a cost reduction of 23%. And that's great and that's important. But What's more important is that we're seeing a 19% reduction in time to market for new products or time to build new applications. And that is really what people want, customers want, whether you're an enterprise building new products in finance or a startup building new products and building new applications to get out to market. So they're two important data points. And then once people are in the cloud, they take advantage of a lot of cloud native services and start to move to things like serverless, and that's the modernisation piece. The next is data and analytics, and I'll put AI and ML into that bucket as well. How do customers get more insight from the data that they've got? You've got ERPs, you've got CRMs, SCADA systems, operational technology. How do you bring that together and then help the business ask better questions of that data to get different results? Traditionally, people look at business intelligence, and that's kind of looking back on the business. But now we have this incredible thing called data science, which helps us forecast the business better. So how do you work with customers to get really, really good at that? And then the final one is really building beautiful customer experiences with customers. And that can be using things like we do with Telstra, with Amazon Connect, to better serve the customers at the front line. But then how do we invent off the back of that, understand the customer better to build really beautiful experiences with them? So those three pillars is how we go to market. And as I said, it's probably not linear. We have some people that start with Amazon Connect, and then you have others, like the project we did with Visi many years ago, when the first foray into the cloud is to move SAP. I mean, 5 years ago, that was huge to do that. And it was a project, together, AWS and Telstra successfully completed. So I wouldn't say there's a simple message there, but either migrations, data, or customer experience is the way we're seeing customers engage with us.
So you're seeing customers get started and then they roll on, get the basics in place and then roll on to the higher order services.
And they learn. And the most successful customers, the patterns we're seeing are having big, audacious goals. You've got to have a big goal. You've got to say, okay, we're moving all of that in, or we're going to totally transform the way we work with our customer. Big, audacious goals. The next is you've got to have alignment at the executive level. You can't just have IT doing experiments or marketing trying something. At that executive level, everyone's got to be aligned behind it. And then probably, I personally think, the most important one, the skills. Train your builders, build your builders, and we're not in a world now where it's just okay for the IT teams to have architectural certifications. The whole business needs to be trained up in what is digital transformation. When someone out in the field on an oil rig has a great idea that could be innovative, how do you get that back into the business? Iterate on that. If it goes from experimentation into production, that's innovation in the business, and you need to establish a business to be able to bring all those great ideas in and act on them. And then finally, don't get analysis paralysis. We see people thinking too much about it. Don't plan it out. Just get going. Experiment. Small experiments. And one thing that's great about the cloud is that people don't realise how small amount you need to actually get going to start building those experiments. So they're probably the big four, really big goals, alignment at the exec levels, train the builders, and don't get analysis paralysis, just really get going.
Love it. I know our people are super excited about AWS skills, and we will have a couple of thousand trained by the end of this financial year. So let's talk about something else that's quite exciting, 5G Edge. We announced a collaboration with you earlier this year. How do you see 5G Edge in the future creating value for customers, and is it for everyone or just for some customers?
Long term, absolutely, you'll start to see it as 5G gets rolled out, and the idea that working in collaboration with customers like yourself in these projects that we're working on, where you'll have compute at the edge, really at the edge of where the 5G is coming in. And what that's allowing developers to do is change the way they develop the apps. All the fast, the heavy duty lifting can stay in the cloud, but these fast microtransactions can start to happen on the edge. We're seeing it significantly in gaming at the moment, but that will certainly start to sweep through manufacturing, where they want decision making being made a lot close to the edge, combining that with things like machine learning and artificial intelligence. Healthcare, we're starting to see it as well. So the answer is yes, Tom. We will see it across all industries, and it will have a big, big impact.
It's very exciting. So our partnership strategy, make it really simple, 1 + 1 = 3. Together we can do more for our customers. Now, you care deeply about business and customers. It's very personal to you. What excites you about our collaboration, and in particular, what excites you about what we can do for customers together?
As you said, Tom, I've been on the Telstra, I'll say the Telstra team, for about 7 years, and very passionate about it from those first projects we did with Visi, and watched it develop into a fantastic partnership and collaboration that we have today. So I get excited about the opportunity to work with your teams that already have these very deep relationship with customers. I'm sure many people watching this understand the relationship they've had with Telstra, not just for months, years, but in some cases it's decades. So to be able to bring the innovation of the AWS platform together with those deep relationships and then a capability of delivery within the thousands of people within Telstra Purple now, that's exciting. That's the 1 + 1 that equals 3 to me. We can work together, side by side together. The innovation of the Telstra network with the AWS platform, that's the bit that we get really, really excited about.
Adam, thanks so much for being here. It's a pleasure as always.
Absolute pleasure. Wonderful to be here, Tom.
Okay, so we're really excited about what we can do with AWS together. If you're interested in talking to one of our experts about what AWS and Telstra Purple can do for you, click on the link in the nav bar on the left and we'll get in touch. Thanks very much, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon. I'm about to welcome my wonderful guest, Rachel Bondi. In the next 11 minutes or so, we're going to raise the roof with Microsoft Tech. We're going to talk about the future of cloud and the possibilities, and we're going to help you make the right steps to realise your full cloud potential. So Rachel, thank you very much for joining.
Oh, you're welcome, Tom. It's great to be here back in the studio with you in person.
It's really good to see you in person, a rarity these days. Now, Telstra, Purple and Microsoft have got a deep relationship, and you've been part of that relationship for 5 years.
Yeah.
What I've really appreciated about you is you care really deeply about customers. You see trends and you act on them early, and I love the bias for action that you have. And you genuinely believe that partnerships are everything in business. So tell us a bit about yourself and tell us what you love about your job.
Thank you. It's great to be here, first of all, and I wanted to welcome all of the customers that are joining in today. I know that the Telstra team's going to put in a great show today. Thank you for asking that question. My history is one of working in our headquarters in Redmond, working in our engineering teams, and I've had the pleasure to actually work with Telstra when I was in Redmond. What I admired most about Telstra and Telstra Purple was the investment they made in R&D and innovation. And I can't thank you, Chris Smith, Gretchen Cook, enough for the great partnership that we've had over the past few years.
So at your Ignite conference last year, Satya Nadella said, and I'm going to read this, we will need to foundationally transform how cloud can drive the next level of broad economic growth that everyone can participate in. So foundationally transform next level, broad economic growth that everyone can participate in. There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
And Microsoft plays big. You're nation builders. Tell us a little bit about what foundationally transform actually means and what role is Microsoft playing in that?
I think the words that really resonate for me when you say that is economically transform for everyone to participate in. And there's something about our two CEOs that I admire greatly. You can see with Andy his passion for wanting to invest in Australia in the context of the global landscape, but really doing what needs to be done for every business in Australia, from the small businesses to the largest of corporations to our public sector to even the agricultural farmers. And my parents are farmers in Queensland, so there's a real huge amount of commitment that's made. And then our CEO thinks about how technology can advance not just the globe, but actually how it can advance Australians as well. He is personally very committed to what we do here in Australia. We are one of the countries that have the largest amount of data centre commitments here within Australia. We're also one of the countries that they invest in ahead of the rest of the world. So the commitment here of Australia and our two companies coming together around this idea is fantastic. The one example I have that I think is in action is the work we did together on the data hub. And that was a joint collaboration again our companies coming together to build an offering that all Australians could take advantage of. And the one client that I know that we've talked about before is the Victor Chang Cardiac Institute. They're using that technology, not just for themselves, but they're making it and federating it to other hospitals in Australia, but also they're federating it outside to get data to help do predictive analytics when it comes to heart attack in young adults. So I think it's incredible what we're doing for all different types of customers, and how we're really trying to drive innovation and really sort of thinking about what is possible with technology.
So in the current climate, many customers are looking to differentiate their customer experience and save money, and also to integrate their employees into different ways of working. So when you look at the trends you see in Australian businesses, how do you see Microsoft's strategy helping meet those needs?
Well, Microsoft has a very broad platform of what we provide to clients, and I think that makes me incredibly excited to talk to partners and clients like yourself. I think the three big things that I think are most critical when I talk to clients is the employee experience, how we really, this is the new normal. We're not going back to how it was. Work is not a place. Work is actually what we need to do, and really thinking much more thoughtfully about what that employee experience is. There's employee capability and satisfaction is so important to how we come together as organisations. And whether it be through Microsoft Viva, Microsoft Teams, the work we do together around communication, collaboration, that's just so much of our future, and that has to be reimagined. So that's one. Cyber. We've talked a lot about this before. The cyber investments that we have made, we have more certifications, cyber certifications, security certifications than any other vendor. The investments that you've made in networking, 5G, IoT, the fact that your network and the deep thought that you go into when it's working with sort of public sector and corporate clients as to what is required, the ability for our organisations to come together, with Telstra Purple in particular, you have more certified people than any other partner that we have in here in Australia. So you bring credibility to the cyber conversation and how we want to go to market together. So that's cyber. And then the third one, might be a little bit surprising, is around skilling for the future. One of the biggest pieces of information I get back from my clients is, how do I skill people? How do I make sure that they have the latest skilling, not just technical skilling, but getting the most out of the technology that they're all using? And we are investing a lot, Microsoft, in terms of how we skill the nation, but we're also investing a lot in Telstra and your clients to make sure that they have the right technical skilling in place as well. So skilling is going to continue to be a big one in the future, and they're probably the big themes that I think clients are telling us at the moment.
That's brilliant. Okay, let's talk future tech. So cross-reality. So Telstra Purple predicts that by 2022, 70% of enterprises will be experimenting with AR or VR technologies, particularly for enterprise use, but also in some customer applications. And 25% will have an application deployed to production. So to bring that to life, an example would be a technician who is wearing a pair of VR goggles, and overlaid on a wiring panel, they see the wires that they should be touching. Really basic. So Microsoft has a vision of mixed reality. Tell us a little bit about it and how customers could make early moves to reap some benefits.
It's not a vision. You're doing it now, Tom.
Yeah.
Telstra Purple's a leader in this area. Just look at Downer. Downer has been one of Telstra Purple's early case studies on using virtual reality in field operations. They manage, 32,000 kilometres of infrastructure and maintenance on our roads and our rail. And Telstra Purple introduced AR and VR back a few years ago. Now, the technology's always changing, and just recently Microsoft announced a product called Microsoft Mesh, which takes it to the next level. It's actually just like having you in a room with me in some ways, and that just brings a whole other level of creativity with it. But no, I think this is not the future. This is now. This is happening. And you know what is really interesting? It's not just about the experience, right? About that virtual reality experience. It's about the data. Because what we're seeing happen is when clients use that for field service, they want to actually then upgrade their finance and operations. They want to improve how they do field service infrastructure. So it is, I think sometimes people think about that physical component to it, but it's actually really stemmed in data and efficiencies. But no, not the vision. It's not the future. It's now for you guys. You're doing an incredible job. You're one of the leading partners in this space, both here and globally. And I think clients should try it more. It's a real practical use case, and I think you've shown that in the Dana example. So well done.
I love it. It's an incredible partnership, and we're really proud of it with you. Okay, so we're almost at time. We are leading the way together in Australia. Give some advice to our customers that are new to Microsoft and Telstra Purple, and maybe top 2 or 3 points. And then for customers that are more mature, where would you be looking next?
Look, if you're new to cloud and if you're new to Telstra and Microsoft, I would experience the technology and experience the envisioning. Maybe the first thing to do is we both invest in client experiences, right, to help them think about the what's possible. We've had a lot of great experiences where we bring leadership teams together, we bring boards together and run either a customer immersion experience or even an enterprise briefing centre where we can show you what you can do. We can take your own client data and simulate it in some ways with your leadership to see what's possible. So I guess my example there is start implementing these ideas today and start to innovate, start to bring innovation into your leadership agenda and bring in all functional areas into your business. So that's one. If you're a more experienced, more experience with the cloud and it's something that you've been doing for some time, it's continuing to think about the employee engagement experience and what we could be doing more there and how we could be learning together. And also, I think data continues to be a big component of what we do to make sure that we're using all of the investments that Telstra is making around IoT, 5G, edge computing. There's so much innovation that's being driven by you and your clients. How do we do more together? So that would be probably for the more experienced clients as well.
Okay, Rachel, I love hearing you talk about this stuff. It's fantastic, and we're really excited about the partnership. So, if you're interested in talking to us more about your cloud journey to help you accelerate and achieve more for your customers, click on the link on the nav bar on the left, and we'll have someone get in touch with you to help you on your way. Thank you. A big welcome to Rodney Hamill from Cisco. In this 4 minutes, we're going to get to know Cisco, explore what Cisco and Telstra Purple have already done for customers, and show you how you can benefit from the cloud-first future with Cisco and Telstra Purple. Rodney, welcome. Look, Cisco is a household name. You've got 75,000 employees. You've got a market cap of more than $200 billion. You are kind of a big deal. But I wonder whether people really know today's Cisco. So tell me some things that would surprise people about Cisco.
What people probably don't know is that in our own right, we're one of the biggest software vendors in the world. Software now makes up a significant portion of Cisco's revenue as we've been on this journey over the last 4 or 5 years to really drive software and really help customers achieve the outcomes they want from automation and simplification, which is largely driven by software. So, yeah, it's an interesting little stat there.
So Telstra Purple and Cisco have a deep partnership. We've been around each other for decades. We've served thousands of customers together, and I'm really proud of the work that we do for our customers. What inspires you in terms of the work we do together, and what's terrifying you right now?
The evolution I've seen both companies go on, both Telstra and Cisco, and what we're delivering to customers, we look like totally different companies than we did 10 years ago. And that's really inspiring to see how we're jointly evolved and emerged our partnership and our technologies to really drive what customers are looking to solve for today. I think what's terrifying me today is the pace of that change. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because if you look at what customers are dealing with and the pace of technology change, it's mind-boggling. And the complexities that are coming into these environments, particularly as customers go multi-cloud, and now we start seeing people consume some stuff from Amazon, some stuff from Google, some stuff from Azure, a little bit of SaaS, a little bit of on-premise, a little bit of edge, and they're bringing together all their business around these technology stacks. That's a complex environment. It's scary, but I'm also energised that I think this is exactly where Cisco and Telstra help our customers.
The world's been turned on its head in the last 18 months. How's Cisco adjusted its strategy to meet those changing customer needs?
Yeah, our strategy's really pivoted towards three key pillars. It's connect, secure, and automate. So we want to be able to connect basically experiences like this over technology like WebEx, where you and I are dealing remote, so we can deal with these sorts of challenges, but also connect any device, people wherever they are, to whatever that resource they need to access. So it's really that connect piece, and then underpinned by security. How do we do it in a secure fashion? So security becomes pervasive in the whole lot. And of course, as this all becomes more and more complex and more complicated and bigger, we want to automate as much of it as we can to make it simple to really operate and help customers really drive efficiencies in their day-to-day operations.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rodney. So what advice would you give to customers that are looking to take advantage of some of the things that we've talked about between Telstra Purple and Cisco?
I think my advice would be to really get in to meet your account teams and let them understand what's happening in your business, because this isn't about a technology change, this is about a business change, and how can they really understand what you're trying to achieve, what our company's trying to achieve, and how we can help you get there. Because we can help at the moment in a variety of things. I think collectively, Cisco and Telstra have been known a lot for things like connectivity and the network, but what we can bring to the table now is far more business value than what we've done in the past. And things like app dynamics and the value we're delivering in full stack observability, so we can see user performance all the way from the mobile phone and application all the way to the infrastructure it's running on, and then try to tie that together to really drive a customer experience.
End-to-end strategic outcomes. So Rodney, thanks so much for spending the time with us today. Look us up at purple.telstra.com. There is so much that Cisco and Telstra Purple can do together, and we'd love to talk to you about it. Rodney, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Stay safe.